Everything you'll hear about today is my journey and how I have, since I was very young, learned the fact that if you want to be a lifelong learner, go for it, and anything and everything is possible along the way. This is most of our journey, and my journey for that matter, with my family, etc., since my college dorm. The one piece that I wish I was able to incorporate today, because I wasn't sure we would launch it in time, is a new project that we call Pico X projects. But let me back up for a second and help you all understand what Pico is. You're going to hear it this entire presentation. Pico is my wife and I, our core values as entrepreneurs, our core values as people. It means proactive, not reactive. Innovation is empowering, customer over profit, and optimistic mindset. We are both first-time entrepreneurs, and we raise our kids the exact same way of all these values, and we work with our teams in the same way. Our culture is built on the premise of Pico. Pico Turbine was my initial start on all this. It was a hobbyist wind turbine kit that I was offered to schools. Along the way, we realized that there was a product life cycle, right? Just like any product has an end point. At least most products have an end to their life. So during my journey, I realized that was happening. So in 2012, I bought a maker bot, hired a wind engineer, and knew I had to create a new product for the market. So I rapid prototyped. First time ever creating a product that I needed to actually manufacture in a traditional manner. Went through a lot, but rapid prototyping saved my company $173,000 in R&D costs in 2012. My company at the time was barely a six-figure company. So if I did not have that as my tool to do what I needed to do, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I manufactured overseas by rapid prototyping and making injection molds. But during that process, I had an epiphany and realized that this was the future. During the conversation with my engineer, I said, why don't we just use this to make it? He said, Mike, it's too slow. I said, you know what, you're right. I said, maybe the technology will get there one day. And guess what? We all know today, it's there. So during that time, I did the injection molded, created the products, and then over that course, I started working with teachers in K-12 universities, teaching them how that process works with rapid prototyping. But again, kept thinking, there's more to this. There's more opportunities than we see. So we started building out these programs in STEM, in K-12 schools. During that process, I got approached by Jersey Public Schools, where I'm from, to do a program that would stretch the boundaries, stretch the things that anyone has done in this area, right? Biomedical engineering, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. They said, let's do it. And I said, we can. So let's go for it. So we developed a program for 3 years. Started off with just 3D printed prosthetics, a very common intro into additive manufacturing for students. But we actually had them do it for a student in their class. Kid had tons of prosthetics, he never wanted to wear them, he just didn't like them. So over 200 students developed and designed one for him. He loved it. Talk about empathy, talk about connecting. So we went through that process and advanced that program to bionics, so we added in some programming, coding, etc., added in a couple other aspects of biomedical engineering. We did the aspect of 3D printing of Braille, we did hearing impairs, we did some sound visualization, but by the time these kids were done, they understood what biomedical engineering was and the future potentially was for manufacturing. And recently, this past year, some of those students after that program was done, 5 years later, interned for me. I've had direct messages from some of them on LinkedIn. They're looking, and they're in high school now, looking to say, what do I need to do to set myself up to be a biomedical engineer, go on that track when I'm in college? Feels great. It's very rewarding. So out of that, we understood there was possibilities to take this further. So I tried to start school, Pico Tech Institute. Way ahead of its time, years before the pandemic, all 9 yards, didn't work out. But everything again during the journey helped me understand what I can do for this industry. At AMUG, I was nicknamed the education guy, right? I was very outspoken about it, and my number one thing is, you're not going young enough. You think I have to start in high school? No, that's too late. People start to think about what they want to do in their future when they're young more than ever. So third, fourth, and fifth grade is about the right time because they have the cognitive ability to kind of grasp all this, right? They have the motor neuron skills to understand and do all this. I've done as young as 4 years old, CAD. My son learned at 5. He's 10 now. He has his own product line he's developing this summer with my team. The future is whatever you want it to be, but you gotta test the boundaries, and that's what all this is about. So Picotech Institute, we created a ton of curriculum. I give it away now. But I've also made these makerspace solutions for schools, and it's quite valuable and very successful. Now, 2019, we'll speed up here. Pico Solutions, we rebranded. One of my employees named the company. They named it off the fact that I say this all the time. I don't want excuses, I want multiple solutions. So they named it. It's like, all right, I guess this works. Let's make it happen. The whole core mission was materializing imaginations and reverse manufacturing our products. 2019 to 2022, we went on a journey to figure out how to make our products locally and cut out locking cash flow up and inventory, etc., and being able to make our products evolve, right, continuously. So there is no end of product, there is no product lifecycle end because you just evolve the product, right? So now, as of today, we make all of our products 100% in the United States, 33% less than I was making them in China. And now we've actually branched out, and that's what 2023 is about. Pico Studio, we will open up our first this summer. We design, we manufacture, showroom, and also event and education center all in one to teach everyone about this. We have been taking on clients in design, and now we do it with them. Now in between that, we have, again, I mentioned earlier, Pico X projects. We're doing an internship for rising juniors through college. They compete for our internship by doing product design. And then if they are awarded this internship, they will pick a category in one of our 10 consumer areas, or they can pick education to develop a product. If they develop a product and we bring it to market, this is the part that I love to drop the mic, as they say, they get royalties for life on that. I am a lifelong entrepreneur. I believe that if I can work with people in that capacity, I can empower them for life to keep being innovative and keep adding value wherever they go, whether they're with me or another company such as Stratus, right, or any of these big Goliaths in the market, right? They will add value. My perspective is the more I can educate, support, they will create. That's what we do. That's our 3-step process. Educate, support, create. You're nothing without support. Pico STEM Club is going to be the biggest initiative, and that's the end year, what we're launching right now in the fall. That's for K-12 schools, really grades 3 through 12. Summarize that, bottom line, STEM Club is all about these aspects. We've done all these things. The fact of the matter is, we're gonna do some fundraising, but again, all the products that these students design, we're putting on the market, on our marketplace, online. Anything we sell for their fundraisers, they get 25% to fund their school programs. A lot of funding has been taken away from those programs. We're looking to give it back. And in high school and the middle schools that can do this, they will have a 3-season design challenge. So they have 2 seasons, actually, for that matter, of design challenge, fall and winter. And then after they've built those foundational skills and understanding DFAM, design for additive manufacturing, which needs to be utilized way more than it is, they then actually compete in spring for the product design challenge. And again, if we take those products to market, all of the students on those teams, or if they're an individual, will get royalties for life on those products. We will manufacture the product for them, we will take it to market, and we will put it through distribution channel full landlords. And we will offer them internships to continue on their journey in DFAM. So you can kind of understand where I stand as a person in this market, what I'm trying to add is the value point, and what I believe we can do and empower people, empower students, because again, everything I'm hearing when people talk about workforce development, they talk about educating people on DFAM or CAD or 3D printing and additive manufacturing in general. They say, yeah, high school. Everything I saw in the presentation before. There was a little bit of middle school. I think I heard that. But more around this high school and universities. But there's two different bridges right now in this market that have to be brought back together. Industry has to connect further with universities, and universities have to connect a lot more with K-12. If we can now take the path from a K-12 into the university, into the industry, in both ways, right, vice versa, we now actually have a complete program. The programs right now are broken. It's what they want to do or what they believe they need to do, right? And it's going to take decades before the way we teach CAD or teach manufacturing changes. It's going to take a long time. So if we capture the kids young enough and help them understand this, they have the foundational skills, so what they learn in university on the traditional manufacturing side, coupled with defense skills, will make them super powerful, right? To anybody, because they understand both sides. Retraining someone that understands how to design for traditional manufacturing is nearly, at times, I don't like to use this word, but impossible. It really is reprogramming their brain, right, to do so. The thing about our internship, which we really just launched in general last year, these are some of the results and data points that we have. Again, some of these kids have interned for me later. The interns I had last year, I had a rising junior. He worked for us as an associate for the past year, and now he's going on to college, and he's going to continue to work for us doing product development in his passion area, aka one of our 10 consumer goods. He hasn't chosen it yet, but he will by the end of the summer. Another one of our interns was a senior, graduated, had these skills using Fusion 360, very high level, very intelligent woman for that matter. And the long story short is, in freshman year, she got a job over seniors in the lab running the CAD aspect and teaching students how to use this because she had these skills from our internship. Pretty good, right? Very much about empowering them to achieve a lot more in life. The way I always go about it and explain to everybody, it's a way of life and a mindset. And everything I'm talking about today is values. And that's really what we're instilling. Not just skills, but we're instilling values. To be lifelong learners and to understand things on a deeper level. So, I explained this aspect. Teachers, my wife and I, CFO, CXO, both of us are working together. We're actually donating $10,000 to start this program for grants for schools, for the teachers. So the teachers get something, the high school kids get these competitions, and the younger kids are going to be focused on the fundraising aspect and just learning how to utilize these tools to hone in on their skills. So this is my contact information, but hopefully you've been able to get a good amount out of my presentation and the journey that I'm on, and why it's called the Pico Journey and everything else. Long story short is I'm right now actually writing a book series to explain this from a very young age through where I am now, and how we can add these values in different points in life, whether we're parents, we're teachers, we're mentors for that matter, how we can help, evolve and move the needle in this industry.
First, I want to congratulate you on making the jump of understanding that the younger kids need to start with content creation, not printing something that someone else created that isn't theirs.
Thank you.
Question: what CAD systems are you using, and how are you achieving success in getting kids who might or might not have extensive computer systems running the CAD to create the content?
Great question, and a question I get very often is the sense of money seems to be a barrier, right? And I work mostly in the urban school districts, and interesting enough, they do have at least the Chromebooks. So we tend to hone in on the younger kids just with Tinkercad. Keep it simple. We're going to open the classroom so we have access to that. So we can analyze their files, give them feedback. I'm actually working on a partnership with a company in UK that actually taps into Fusion 360, which is what we use for the high school. I actually don't take this to offense anyone that uses it, but I don't believe SolidWorks is the right fit for DFAM.
Great.
I believe it's more of a traditional manufacturing tool, and we're still going to need it. But Fusion 360, I believe, is the winner. And don't worry, I don't get any money from them. Fact of the matter is, I believe it's the true software that works best for what we're doing. So hopefully that answers your question. Did you have anything further on that?
I really hate to bring up another name because it's almost plugging them, but have you given any look at Onshape?
Yes, so I absolutely have. I'm digging into it a little bit more. I just believe, like, so Tinkercad is I just love the classroom aspect and how I can now give them a classroom and then my team can then analyze the files very easily. Onshape, I'm not as familiar on that level with. I don't believe they have that, but correct me if I'm wrong. But that is something we're exploring, especially with a lot of the ed tech teachers in my network. They have recommended that because it does give them kind of that, it's almost that in between, in my opinion, Tinkercad and Fusion. So I'm actually, you know what, now that you say that, for the fun of it, this summer I'll have my son explore it blindly and see how it goes. Always fun, right?